Gachiakuta is the most discussed and talked about anime currently. While a lot of people love the series, me included, I think the show has its flaws and doesn't really strike me as a masterpiece. And in this video I will do my best to explain you why Gachiakuta might not be the anime for you. So what is Gachiakuta? Gachiakuta is a dark action series created by Kei Urana with graffiti designed by Hideyoshi Ando. Yes, they actually hired someone just for the graffiti in the show. I think that's pretty sick. Important to mention is that Kei Urana was actually the assistant to the author of Fire Force and Soul Eater. It really inspired her for her work on Gachiakuta. So Kei Urana is really loved in the anime community mainly because she looks like a goth mommy. Talk about unique. And funny enough, she is really unique and she really looks like someone who actually created Gachiakuta. She's as unique as the manga she's drawing. But let's talk about the setup. The setup is pretty brutal. So Rudo is living in the slums of a floating town. There is like a rich district and then there is like a poor district, like the slums, and then there is a huge hole, like a pit, where basically they throw all their trash. And not only trash, but if people are accused of some crime, they also throw people in the pit. One day Rudo's father Recto gets murdered. Rudo gets falsely accused and gets thrown into the pit. While falling, he notices the murderer is in the crowd who is present during the execution. Rudo basically swears revenge not only to the murderer but also to the people who throw him into the pit. So the story has three core components. One is basically trash beasts. So those are beasts basically created from trash, obviously. And the second one is people who are called givers. Those are people with special powers. The third one are vital instruments, and vital instruments are basically objects, or let's say trash, someone takes good care of and puts a lot of love into it. And these vital instruments enable the givers to unlock some special powers. Very important to mention, not everything can be a vital instrument. The vital instrument needs to be an important object for you, and you need to really take good care of it. Rudo's gloves are a vital instrument which can turn anything it touches into another vital instrument. But it's only for a one-time use. After a bit of here and there, we are met with a cool guy named Engine, who apparently uses an umbrella as a vital instrument. And he's kinda like a captain of givers called cleaners. Then we meet a hot redhead with scissors, and we also meet a hot receptionist with glasses as vital instrument. And then we also meet the big boss of the group of these givers, who is like aura farming from like every episode he's in, even though he's not there pretty often, but every time he's in, like, he's just aura farming all the time. Let me start off by saying that Gachiakuta is absolutely unique with the art, with the style, with the world building, with the music. It creates a perfect combination. It really works well together, and I think it's the highlight of the whole anime. I really don't remember the last time I saw such a unique anime with so many unique components. The only thing that really comes to my mind currently is Samurai Champloo, who also was very unique in its own way with the hip-hop music. Also there was graffiti in there, and it was also trying to be really unique. That alone makes it a masterpiece. Something that I noticed when watching Gachiakuta is that the whole world of Gachiakuta is very cool. Like people living on the bottom of the pit, then also like the border where there is like a strange monster or whatever it is, and then the people on the top, basically the spherits. The whole vital instrument thing gives backstories to not only people but also to objects as well, which is kind of cool. Fights are beautiful, the antagonists gives you goosebumps and really makes you hate them, which is how it's supposed to be. I think Jabber is like super cool and Zodil is even cooler. Studio Bones proved really again that they are on top of their class. Both openings are really crazy. You don't see often anime using metalcore as the music for the opening, so it really gives me uniqueness vibes similar to Dandadan. And also the metalcore, really, the whole Gachiakuta vibe is this kind of darkish vibe, and it really goes well with the metalcore music. It's really. What I also love about Gachiakuta is sometimes the story, how it's portrayed, it really is on thin ice with some moral things, let's say. Like for example with Amo, Amo was basically a sex slave, let's be honest. Gachiakuta really is not scared of really also experimenting with these like morally wrong things. And I also think they did an awesome job of like storytelling it to the audience in a way where we could understand what's going on. It was disgusting, right? But it was not something like you couldn't really look at it. So I think they did a pretty good job. Backstories of some of the characters were also explored, like Rio or Zanka or Rudo as well, but not a lot, only like a glimpse or maybe like a couple of minutes inside some of the episodes. And each of their story is really unique. Towards the end, the most focus is on the raiders and on Zodil as their leader and his plan on how to collect all the Watchmen series vital instruments. While I could go on and on on how Gachiakuta is really unique and great. I think it has its flaws and we really need to talk about them as well. The pacing is an absolute killer. It has so many internal monologues and so many thoughts that of the characters. Nothing is really happening in the real world and they're just thinking, and I mean, I get it, we are going through their emotions and stuff, but we need to remind ourselves this is a shonen anime, right? It's not a drama. So the focus should be more on the characters and on the action and the MC and how he overcomes struggles and power-up systems and stuff like this. So this might be also an experimentation of Gachiakuta, but yeah, I mean, for me the pacing was an absolute, like, it absolutely destroyed, and to be completely honest, it was hard for me to even, like, I didn't really want to finish, let's say, the last episodes, or I mean, it was a struggle for me to finish the last couple of episodes because of it. And also to add to this, like, shonen genre, like, the world building is insane. I think the world of Gachiakuta is really interesting, but sometimes we are more focused on the world building rather than on the shonen part of the anime. So for example, like Reincarnated as a Slime, the world building is a huge part of the anime, like a huge part. So it's logical that the main focus is on that. But sometimes in Gachiakuta I felt like the main focus is on the world building and not on really on the shonen part of it. And so the action is not where it's supposed to be. So instead of the fights we get a lot of talk no jutsu and internal monologues, basically. Also, to really mention that I think Engine and like the side characters, I would say, I mean, side characters are 10 times more interesting than Rudo. I feel like Rudo is kind of like this huge bowl of cliches with his like character, and maybe it will improve in the manga, but as it is, he looks like really dull. Like if Engine would be the main character, I would be even more happier, because like every time Engine is there, I know it's gonna be fun, I know it's gonna be interesting, I know I'm gonna be really hooked on it. So what I'm trying to say is really that there are a lot of unique ingredients to the whole recipe, but the storytelling is missing. So the storytelling which is connecting all of these things, it's connecting the whole story, it's connecting the characters, it's connecting the world building and everything. The storytelling is not there, and I mean it's there, but it's kind of not working for this specific genre and this specific story. So let's move on to the judging part. So let's start with the pros. The art is unique, the music is unique, the whole, like, all the characters are very interesting except the main character. The world building is great. I think there is a lot of mysteries. I think there is a lot of like questions but without any answers. So if the anime will continue, and I think it will continue, because I think there was an announcement for season 2, there is a lot of questions to be answered. The graffiti are awesome. The whole element of this uniqueness, and how usually like the shonen are this positive, hee ha ha, this ha that. I feel like Gachiakuta is this depressing, sad kind of world, but it's very interesting. Like, it really, like, you're intrigued to see more of it. Now for the cons, I think that the shonen genre is not really there, to be honest. Like, there is a lot of focus on world building, a lot of focus on the drama part, on the emotions, internal monologue, stuff like this. Kind of missing like this fighting and power-upping and part of the shonen genre which we all like, right? So this is something I'm really missing, and I think it's a con. Pacing is an absolute killer. Like at the beginning it was pretty good, then it got really slow. Sometimes it really keeps you a bit hooked, then it leaves you. And for me personally, again, the last couple of episodes were really hard for me to finish watching. It's because I was like, yeah, I could watch this, I could finish watching Gachiakuta, but I was not really so intrigued to do so. Like, there were other anime that I would be made more curious to see. You see how this goes. Like, it's really interesting. It has all these cool elements, but it kind of fails to connect all of this together. So the storytelling is a bit weak, I think. So my final verdict is, it's pretty good, but not a must watch. And I stand by it. I think it's good. I think it's interesting. I think it's something you could recommend. I think it's something that in, let's say, 5 years or 6 years, you won't even think about, right? Like, for example, Cowboy Bebop, I will remember it for life because it was such a masterpiece, right? And that's why I don't think I will remember Gachiakuta in 5 years. You know, I mean, there will be a season 2 and stuff, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not something you remember for life. I think it's something that you bring when you are talking about uniqueness and something interesting, you know, maybe in a conversation with a friend about unique animes. Gachiakuta can be mentioned for sure. And I think it has its own good things, but I still don't think it's that good. It's not on the other side of masterpiece and being the best. So something that really started really strong, really cool, slowly was started dying or got really slow and really was killed by its pacing and slowness. And it's a shame because you have so many interesting things about the anime itself, so many unique elements where you can play with it, and you decide to make it as slow as possible. Like this feels like the author wants to make like another One Piece, let's say. That's all from my side. Let me know, what do you think about Gachiakuta? Did you like it? Do you share a similar view on it as I do? Anyway, let me know in the comments what do you think about it. Like or subscribe if you really like the video, and I will see you in the next video.